helped draw up Nigeria's law against organ trafficking. What? He himself. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. A lot of you will know this story. We've covered it, and there's an update, and apparently they have been found guilty. Excuse me, if you're coming across this and you don't know what I'm talking about, you just listen and you get to know what I'm talking about. So Ekweremadu, okay, let me just read it the way the UK news shared it. So it says, Nigerian politician, a wife and a doctor guilty of organ trafficking to UK. Okay, this is from the Guardian of the UK, right? So it says a senior Nigerian politician, his wife and a doctor have been convicted of organ trafficking in the first verdict of its kind under the Modern Slavery Act. Ekweremadu, 60, a former deputy president of the Nigerian Senate, his wife Beatrice, 56, and Dr. Obinna Obeta, 51, were found guilty of facilitating the travel of a young man to Britain with a view to his exploitation after a 6-week trial at the Old Bailey. Before I forget what I want to say, let me actually say this for those that may not know. Right, that young boy is the child of poor people in Nigeria, right? He is not from a reputable family or whatever. He's a street seller, from what they said. This boy is a poor man's child, as simple as that. And he didn't have the money, but yet he had a lawyer. He had a lawyer to speak for him, to fight for him, and in a country like the UK, he got justice without spending a cent. Let's really be rewinding that in our heads, because we come from a country where, unfortunately, to a great extent, justice is for those that can afford it. Okay, so let me continue what I was saying. They criminally conspired to bring the 21-year-old Lagos street trader to exploit him for his kidney. If you do not know this story, basically this couple, Ekweremadu, Mr. and Mrs. Ekweremadu, are rich politicians in Nigeria. Their daughter that lives in the UK needed the kidney. So the allegation, the allegation is that, well, let's say you say allegation, or what they've been found guilty of is that they went and recruited a poor man's child, and they offered him incentives to come over to the UK to give one of his kidneys to their daughter, which is against the law in the UK. I don't even know if it's against the law in Nigeria. I don't know. If you know, please tell us. So they see that as exploitation. They see it as slavery, because basically it's like this boy is basically what's it called now, being taken advantage of. Okay, so that's what it's about. And you know, the sad part is that their daughter is still unwell. Their daughter is still, she's not out of the woods yet. Like, you know, see, I would never wish this upon anybody, rich, poor, whatever. You know, that their daughter's life, she's still on dialysis. That daughter's life is still in danger. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it comes to my mind that, God forbid, what if this girl doesn't make it? It will be a lose-lose situation everywhere. Parents are in jail, and then the daughter they tried so hard to save didn't make it. Let's not forget that the main part we Nigerians have been speaking about is the fact that if our politicians, if they fixed our country, our healthcare would have been good enough that they didn't need to take their daughter abroad. You get that point? So, you know, you get, okay, let me read this, right? Their daughter, I'm going to skip through this, right? I'm just go through this. They said that same daughter, in this news, they said she cried in court as her parents were sent down from the dock. She had to stay there and witness her parents being found guilty, and she knows what that means. Their daughter watched and she cried. That's what it says. But their daughter was not found guilty. It says, okay, let me just read. The man, who cannot be named for legal reasons, has been offered an illegal reward to become a donor for the senator's daughter after kidney disease forced her to drop out of a master's degree in film at Newcastle University, the court heard. Sonia Ekweremadu, who is their daughter, was not found guilty because she did not play any part from the trying to bring the boy and all of that. But you see, at the same time, their daughter was schooling abroad. If our education system was okay, not as to strike, so people are spending 4-year degree, they are spending 7 years or more to finish it, because the lecturers strike so much because they are not being paid. But our politicians send their children for the best education abroad. In February 2022, the man was falsely presented to the private renal unit at Royal Free Hospital in London as Sonia's cousin in a failed attempt to persuade medics to carry out an £80,000 transplant. For a fee, a medical secretary at the hospital acted as an Igbo translator between the man and the doctors to help to try convince them he was an altruistic donor, the court heard. The prosecutor, Hugh Davis, KC, told the court that the Ekweremadus and Obeta, who is the doctor, had treated the man and other potential donors as disposable assets, spare parts for reward. He said they entered an emotionally cold commercial transaction with the man. The behavior of Ekweremadu, a successful lawyer and founder of an anti-poverty charity, wow, I didn't know that, who helped draw up Nigeria's law against organ trafficking. What? He himself. I didn't know that. Let me read that again. The behavior of Ekweremadu, a successful lawyer and founder of an anti-poverty charity, who helped draw up Nigeria's law against organ trafficking, showed entitlement, dishonesty, and hypocrisy. Davis told the jury. Whoa. So he helped to form anti-organ trafficking law in Nigeria, and he went and broke it in the UK. Enokwa. He said Ekweremadu, who owned several properties and had a staff of 80, agreed to reward someone for a kidney for his daughter, somebody in circumstances of poverty, and from whom he distanced himself and made no inquiries, and with whom, for his own political protection, he wanted no direct contact. Davis added, what he agreed to do was not simply expedient in the clinical interest of his daughter Sonia. It was exploitation. It was criminal. It is no defense to say he acted out of love for his daughter. Her clinical needs cannot come at the expense of the exploitation of somebody in poverty. Ekweremadu, who denied the charge, told the court he was the victim of a scam. Or better, who also denied the charge, claimed the man was not offered a reward for his kidney and was acting altruistically. Beatrice denied any knowledge of the alleged conspiracy. Sonia did not give evidence. WhatsApp messages showed to the court reveal Obeta charged Ekweremadu 4.5 million naira, about 8,000, made up of an agent fee and a donor fee. Ekweremadu and Obeta admitted falsely claiming the man was Sonia's cousin in his visa application and in documents presented to the hospital. Davis said Ekweremadu ignored medical advice to find a donor of his daughters among genuine family members. More is coming out. Oh, you know, I've been saying it. Why didn't they choose family member? When they get married, politicians, big people, who is who in society, when they marry among themselves. When they need kidney, they go for the child of a nobody. Why can't one of them, cousins, uncles? I made a video and I said it. Why didn't somebody in the family donate? I didn't even know that was even brought up as well. They say he ignored medical advice to find a donor for his daughter among genuine family members. He said at no point in time was there ever any intention for a family member close, medium or distance to do what could be paid for from a pool. Oh! I got goosebumps. You know, these are kind of videos that make me emotional because basically it's like, why should anybody in his family do it? Going by this, it's like, why would anybody in his family do it when there are so many poor people that can be used? That's what I'm reading from that, and it breaks my. I always say it, like, the reason why this is what I have come to believe is that the reason why the people that are in power have refused to change the situation in that country is because they need the poverty of the poor to be able to continue enjoying some of the things they enjoy. It's... Oh, okay, let me read that again, right? Okay. Davis said Ekweremadu ignored medical advice to find a donor for his daughter among genuine family members. He said, meaning that Ekweremadu said, at no point in time was there ever any intention for a family member, close, medium, or distant. Nobody in his family deserves to lose a kidney for his daughter. That's basically what that says. Nobody, close, medium, or even distant, to do what could be paid for from a pool of donors. And you wonder why they leave people in poverty in that country. The judge, Mr. Justice Jeremiah Johnson, will pass sentence on 5th of May. The chief crown prosecutor, Joanne Jakimek, said this was a horrific plot to exploit a vulnerable victim by trafficking him to the UK for the purpose of transplanting his kidney. The convicted defendant showed utter disregard for the victim's welfare, health, and well-being, and used their considerable influence to a high degree of control throughout, with the victim having limited understanding of what was really going on. It's really sad when you see how the poor are treated in Nigeria. It just breaks your heart. It really does break your heart. I'm not gonna lie, that the final part of the thing I was reading, it really got to me. It really got to me. At the end of the day, you know, he has become, the Ekweremadus have become a scapegoat, basically, you know, because they are not the only ones. Are you thinking this is the first time something like this would have happened? I believe it may have happened before and it went smoothly. There are different kind of exploitation of the poor going on in Nigeria. A lot of different, you know, exploitation of the poor going on in Nigeria. But you know, reading this story, let me tell you guys, we're humans. I'm human. I feel sorry for their daughter. I feel sorry for what they have found themselves in, the possibility of losing their daughter, being at that point where they became so desperate to get their daughter a kidney and everything. But at the same time, let's not forget the everyday man that their children's lives are going through worse situations, and there was no help from left, right, and center because of the state they have left Nigeria in. People in power, our politicians. For when politicians go abroad for the best healthcare, they go abroad on holidays, they go abroad, they build their own houses abroad, their children's school abroad, everything they need is abroad. The only reason they are in Nigeria is because that is where they are milking. That is where a country that has natural resources. Go to some parts of the world where they have no natural resources and see how they are building up their society. But our people, they are bent on destroying that country for their greed and for their own personal gains. It's sad, let's be honest. It's sad what's happening to their daughter, you know, but it's sad what's happening to everybody else as well. Let's not forget that if Nigeria was better, imagine that they even said he even drafted the anti-organ trafficking law. So he knows the law. He knows the law. That's what they say in Nigeria. The law is for the poor. They make the law for the poor. It doesn't affect them. You think if in Nigeria he will be in any trouble? Of course he won't be. Unfortunately for him, is the UK, where the law is the law. Hopefully, I wanted to cover this story. We'll be covering this story for a while. I wanted to cover it. Hopefully, the ones on ground, maybe not, I don't know. They may sit down and start asking themselves questions. Is it about time we fix our country? Is it about time we do the right thing? Is it about time they realize that Nigeria is supposed to be our country where the things we need should be available to us? UK politicians don't go to Nigeria for healthcare. I hope they remember that. I hope so. I saw that update I wanted to share with you guys because we've been covering the story for a while. As always, whatever your opinions are, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.